Welcome to Off Duty. I'm Kelsey Hubbard. So Britney Spears is joining the cast of Simon Cowell's The X Factor. John Jurgensen is here to tell us all about it. Joining the fray of reality TV, she's getting in, kind of making a comeback in a way. We haven't seen a lot of her from a while.
Right. She's been kind of absent from the scene. I mean, she's done well. She's done tours, and her music career has come back pretty strong. But as far as a public figure, I think she's kind of a mystery person in a way. I mean, she did a lot of press for her most recent music projects, but her interviews were very scripted, very short. Things were kept very safe. And suddenly we're going to have her out in front of America, a couple times a week. So it'll be an interesting window into who she is now.
So what do we know about why they chose her to join the cast of judges on the X Factor?
Well, what you're seeing on these talent shows is that you have this arms race happening, essentially. I mean, it really started with Jennifer Lopez and Steven Tyler on American Idol. If you think back to the early days of Idol, when Paula Abdul, for example, was on it, I mean, she was essentially, a B-list, C-list person. I mean, so the judges' seat has really become kind of like the A-list place to be, and so the arms race for talent in that spot has become pretty intense. So Jennifer Lopez, Steven Tyler, Christina Aguilera, other stars on The Voice. So they really had to come out with someone strong.
So are you saying that in a way this judge's seat is actually coveted by, say, a Britney Spears, who's in some ways making a comeback as much? So it's not just them trying to lure in big talent, but the talent actually say, this is a great way for me to get in front of a sort of a whole new audience.
Right. I mean, she can look at what happened with Jennifer Lopez. Who, her album sales got better. I mean, everyone has seen their music sales uptick from these kind of things. And more importantly, it sort of just puts you back in the spotlight in a different way. I mean, she can't keep putting out albums and doing tours. You have to do something different every time now.
So you mentioned Paula Abdul. Simon Cowell had brought her on along with Nicole Scherzinger to judge the first season. They got rid of them. Now they're bringing in Britney Spears, as we mentioned, but also Demi Lovato. So they're obviously going for a younger demographic. Is that what you think is needed to boost the show? What are they looking to do? I mean, there's a big competition out there. You mentioned American Idol and The Voice, so it's pretty tough in this category.
And you've seen Idol's ratings have dropped. The X Factor did okay, but didn't do nearly as well as Simon Cowell famously said 20 million viewers would be, anything less would be a disappointment. They've had about 15 or 12 to 15 on average. So what they need is just something to splash. They need something to kind of pop it. And you saw with Howard Stern, for example, on America's Got Talent. He's another example of the big name in the judge's seat. And whether people actually tune in for that is really an open question. I mean, I think there's the image of who Britney is or who Howard is in the American mindset, and then there's maybe the reality of how many people want to go see that week to week. And also, I mean, I don't have the answer on this yet, but I'm really curious about how they test that dynamic. I mean, because it really comes down to how these judges can interact with each other. It's not just her name brand. Will she have a repartee with Simon? Will they have sort of these identifiable personalities that come out, episode by episode that the viewers really tune back for? So, I mean, sorry to use the cliche, it's the X Factor. you can't judge for it, but I'm curious whether they were able to test that in sort of a mock scenario.
Well, let's see if they watch. We'll keep an eye on it. Thanks, John, for bringing it to us. Hollywood movie star and mother of two, Jessica Alba, took her search to find healthy baby products and turned it into an online business. I got a chance to sit down with her to talk about her new role as entrepreneur and find out what's next for the busy actress. She played a superhero on film and became a super mom in real life. And now A-list actress Jessica Alba has turned eco-entrepreneur with the launch of The Honest Company, a producer of baby products that are all natural. And she joins me here today. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, I'm a mom of a 2-year-old. I have one on the way. I know how that desire when you have a baby to do everything you can for your child, but not all of us start a company. How did you get inspired to do that?
Well, I was really inspired by my children and being a mom and wanting the best, healthiest environment for my child to grow up in.
And were you not finding that in the marketplace?
No. I mean, I really felt like, I think like a lot of moms, that there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of clutter. There are a ton of product companies, and they're all saying this and that. And it was tough to filter out what was actually the healthier, better performing choice, and what was greenwashing. And also, I would go to one company for one thing, another company for another for another, get stuff online, get stuff at a store, and get stuff overseas, and I just felt like, it would be so much easier if there was just my essential needs were met and I can go to one place and they did all of the hard work and all of the research and they were the best performing products out there. And so that's really where this came from. I also felt like there was a bit of a social injustice that only families that made a certain amount of money and were in a certain price point could afford to give their children the better products and all of that. And so it was really important that this company was accessible and was affordable, because I just don't feel, I feel like every child, no matter what, absolutely deserves the best.
Well, we want to look at some of the products that you do offer from the Honest Company, and really what stands out first of all are the diapers, which have some great motifs that you don't really see in there. Was that a conscious choice of yours to say, let's make something a little more fashion forward?
Yeah, you know, I found that in the sort of, I guess, healthier, non-toxic eco space, there wasn't a whole lot of attention paid to two things: performance and design. And so
because that's really at the end of the day, it has to really perform.
Work.
I mean,
there's no way we
keep them dry.
Yeah, as moms, like, we know how important it is. We're on the go, and if it doesn't work, then it's out of here. And then I was like, wouldn't it be great? It was just like this dream. Wouldn't it be great if we can customize your bundles and you can get like different designs, and each parent can just have like different designs in their monthly package. And so we have 6 designs to choose from, and they're super cute. And
so you
why
can
not?
choose just to order. We should mention this is a subscription business, so you don't just walk into stores and buy it. You buy it online, and it gets delivered.
Right.
So you can pick whether you want the shampoos and the diapers, or you want cleaning products.
You can really mix it up.
I don't know how I lived without wipes before I became a mom. I mean, I never bought a package before I had a child, and now I can't live without them, because they're great stain removers.
I mean,
everywhere. They get everything out.
And so, and our wipes, we call them cheek to cheek. They can go everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's a plant-based material that they're made out of. And you know, there's a lot of companies out there that have their wipes, but I have to say ours might be the cutest. And so I was like, why can't we have fun and make beautiful things, even if they are home items or baby items?
And you make a great point. You know, there are a lot of companies out there. I mean, predominantly the marketplace is J&J, P&G, Kimberly-Clark, and make Pampers, Huggies, those brands that we hear about, and they make diapers, sunscreens, lotions. And even you see a lot of drugstores these days getting into organic and all natural. So what is really the plan for this company? How are you going to eat away at their market share and really get customers to take a look at your products? I mean, it is a competitive place out there.
It is, absolutely. I think the big differentiator with our company versus the other companies out there is, you know, they spend millions and millions of dollars on product development to make a product for 1 cent. They want to make the cheapest product as humanly possible, and they don't really look at the health ramifications or the healthiness of it. It's really just how cheap and high volume. And we're exactly the opposite. And so we spend a lot of money on product development, on high performance, on the best ingredients, the healthiest ingredients, but really honing in on performance.
Now, there are a lot of skeptics out there who still believe that buying organic products or all-natural products is not worth it given the price tag, that there are a lot of differences in price between normal products, and also a lot of...
Which is why we made it accessible.
And a lot of agencies and even pediatricians say, you know, there's no proven facts that the products that you're using off the shelves of a supermarket or drugstore are, you know, long-term will be harmful for your kids. How do you convince the consumer that what you're putting out there is a better choice?
I mean, I don't have to convince the consumer. I just did research as a mom, and you know, there are facts out there. The #1 killer of children in this country is cancer, and 89% of the cancer that children have is environmentally caused. That's just, you know, doctors at Mount Sinai who've done studies and know that. You know, they're supportive of cleaner and healthier ingredients. And so, you know, we basically just took out all of, because in the last, you know, 30 years, these chemical companies have created so many chemicals that didn't exist. So the product that you think that you're getting because you grew up on it is not the same product that's on the shelves today. And so, you know, autism, there's 300,000 children who have autism. I don't know if there is a direct link between one thing and one thing, but I think accumulatively in your environment, if you can in any way, me as a parent, avoid, you know, even the chance of my child getting sick, I'm going to do that. I'm very proud of this company, and it's, I mean, it's not like it's Jessica Alba diapers or Jessica Alba detergent, you know, it's the honest company. We want to be honest and transparent, and we want our bottles to stand up this way too, so that you can get every bit of juice out of there.
Yes. Oh, great. And what's next for you in your movie career? What are we going to see from you?
I did an animated picture, my first one.
How fun.
Escape from Planet Earth, it's called, and I play a villain, which was really funny. And I saw Sarah Jessica Parker's in it, and I saw her the other night at the Met Ball, and I was like, you sounded so good, and my voice, I sound like a Valley girl, and we were just chatting about putting our voice in this movie.
Great, well, we'll look forward to it, and thank you so much for joining us today to tell us about The Honest Company.
Thank you for having me.
Best of luck with it.
And you too.
Thank you.
Your
Thank
second
you.
little munchkin.
Yes, I've been speaking with Jessica Alba at the Soho Grand Hotel in New York City. I'm Kelsey Hubbard for The Wall Street Journal. Over 100,000 cocktails will be served over the 5 days of this year's The Manhattan Cocktail Classic. Here's one way to make one of those drinks. Check out the aptly named Obituary.
The Manhattan Cocktail Classic kicked off with a gala on Friday night at the New York Public Library. Over the next 5 days, over 100,000 cocktails will be served. Here's a look at just one of those drinks.
It's a classic cocktail called an Obituary, and it's a New Orleans classic cocktail, which a lot of bartenders these days know very, very well to be great, classic, simple recipes. This one's a perfect example of it. It has simply 3 ingredients: dry vermouth, a good measure, a double ounce of gin, and a good hint of Pernod absinthe, 6 dashes to be exact. Starting with 1 ounce of a good quality dry vermouth, 2 ounces of good London dry gin, and lastly, 6 dashes from a bitters bottle, in this case, of Pernod absinthe. Really good stir. Best quality ice available, preferably. And as you can see, the drink is starting to louche, and that's the absinthe playing its part and making the drink ever so slightly cloudy, and almost acts as the garnish itself. And there you have it. Classic cocktail from New Orleans, the Obituary cocktail.
And looking for a new twist on a classic meal, our own Kitty Greenwald shows us a delicious recipe for a roasted chicken dinner.
Hi, my name is Kitty Greenwald, and this is Slow Food Fast. Today we are preparing a recipe that comes from Ignacio Matos, who is based in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. He is sharing with us a recipe for roast chicken with a parsley, radish, and currant slaw. And alongside, there's a cooling Greek yogurt for dipping. It comes complete with a few restaurant tricks, such as how to plump currants and take the bite out of raw onions. But for the most part, it's made for home cooks, and it's a bit more sophisticated than your average roast chicken dinner, but not by much, and it certainly doesn't involve a lot more work. So, thank you, Ignacio, for being so considerate. We've preheated the oven to 475. Here we have a 2.5-pound chicken that's been broken into pieces. I'm going to break down the chicken into slightly smaller pieces and trim off some extra skin. I don't need any skin that's not attached to the meat in this preparation. What we're going to do is add the seasonings to the chicken and let it sit for about 5 minutes. So the seasonings we're adding here are whole black peppercorns, it's about a whole teaspoon, whole fennel seeds, and a good pinch of red chili flakes. Smash that up. that's what that looks like, a pretty little mixture. You sprinkle it in, and now an unflinching amount of garlic here. I'm adding the salt to the garlic, and I'm gonna smash this up until it forms a paste. So, there's the garlic, and I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Feel free to use a spatula or put on rubber gloves. I just like to touch food to know how much seasoning is distributed. You're tossing it sort of sloppily all over, getting the mixture evenly distributed. So here we are. The chicken's marinated for about 5 minutes. The oven is at 475, almost 500 degrees. I'm going to take out the roasting tray, which is going to be quite hot, so oven mitt handy. Pull out the tray. Carefully have a place set for it. You're going to hear a sizzle, don't be alarmed. Okay. Turn this to the oven, and it's going to roast for about 20-25 minutes, just until it's cooked through. While the chicken roasts, we're going to assemble the components for our slaw, which ultimately you're actually going to keep separate until the last minute. So firstly, I'm going to toast some pine nuts. So this is about a 1/4 cup of pine nuts, which I'm just going to toast over moderate heat. And I'll heat a 1/4 cup of sherry vinegar. And just when it starts to simmer, I will dump it over the currants. Simmering sherry over currants. I'm going to put these onions in an ice water bath so that some of their bite is removed, so that the raw astringency of an onion becomes a little less abrasive and the onion itself gets a little crispier. Here you have 1 bunch of radishes. You can just slice these thin, but you don't want them paper thin. You want it to have some bite to it. So, onions are soaking, currants are soaking, pine nuts are toasted, chicken is roasting, and I'll get the vinaigrette going, which couldn't be simpler. You want equal parts olive oil to lemon juice. Let's do about 2 tablespoons. Okay, vinaigrette is ready. I'm gonna pat my ingredients dry. Just lay it out. I'm gonna strain my currants, make sure those are nice and dry. At this point, I think it's appropriate to spread your 4 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, which Ignacio is admittedly a huge fan of using, all over your chicken. So I'm going to take the chicken out and spread the yogurt all over and return it to the oven. Whole fat Greek yogurt. This is a 1/4 cup, about 4 tablespoons. So just smear a little bit on top. It'll get melty once it returns to the oven. And this just sort of works as a nice sort of rich, cooling counterpoint to hot spices. You return it to the oven, allow the chicken to finish roasting. It'll be about 5 to 10 minutes. So now we're gonna get our slaw made. Nice dry onion. Toss that with your radishes. Pine nuts have cooled. Add those in. Your strained currants. 1½ cup of plain parsley leaves. The reason you want it to be so dry is that you want the dressing to adhere. I'm transferring this to a bigger bowl because whenever you mix a salad, you want to have plenty of space to toss it. So I'm going to drizzle in a bit of my dressing. I'm not going to use everything. And you just want it just super lightly dressed. Taste it for salt. I need salt. So this is ready. I'm going to pull my chicken out. The yogurt is actually set up. That piece. And I like that piece. Some relish alongside. With a no-fuss dollop of yogurt for dipping. And because I'm an olive oil fanatic. Can I have a taste and let you know? It's a lovely chicken supper. The meat is juicy and intensely flavored. The yogurt is cooling. The relish is sort of ladylike and surprising. So it's clean tasting and elegant. And Ignacio Matos, thank you for sharing your chicken supper with us. I hope you all make it at home and have similarly delightful results.
That's it for Off Duty. I'm Kelsey Hubbard. Don't forget to click above to subscribe and stay tuned to WSJ's Off Duty YouTube channel for more video content. Thanks for watching.